Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another great epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. Me and my guests, we are talking Alien Earth that is on FX. This is episode 5. In space, no one an outer space vessel in Pearl leads to a dangerous reckoning. Jumping right in, this was a flashback episode, Lamont. It answered all of the questions. I have so many to ask you as well. I think I remember last time I said, hey, man, are you team Waylon Yukani or are you team Prodigy? Prodigy or Waylon Yukani? You was like, you know what? I'm team neither. I know what team I'm on after this episode, Lamont, and you could tell me now or later what team are you on. But I think you can tell from my enthusiasm that I love this episode. It was fire. It was fire. Yes, it was. This was the best episode of the season, in my opinion. Oh my goodness gracious, there's so much to dive into. How did you feel about the episode, sir? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna put it like this: as far as a flashback TV show goes, this is the best. This is in the top 10 ever. And as far as the last 5 years of a series having a show, this is in the top 10 of the last 5 years. Period. Debate me if you want to, but you're gonna lose. When that opening title said space dot dot dot, what they really was trying to say was what stays in space should stay in fucking space and not come to Earth.
Yeah.
Because we got the whole entire enchilada of what was going on that preempted us to getting where we was at. Me and B. Avery made some predictions about somebody sabotage some things. We didn't get the person right, but we got that part right. And so I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't enjoy this episode of TV, I don't know what kind of TV you enjoy. It must be something super X-rated.
Yeah, man. They did a lot in this episode here, man. Crossed a lot of T's, dotted a lot of I's. We got to
Mhm.
know the crew because while I have been enjoying the show for the most part, up until now, one thing that kind of made me scratch my head and wish for more is I'm like, we didn't really get to know the crew at the very beginning of the series. I'm thinking, what was the point of introducing them if we're only going to get a 5-minute scene and then the next thing you know, they're crashing into Earth and they're dead. But no, we get to see a lot is revealed here. And you made a comment as far as what they're capable to do. Raheem, one of the characters, he said it himself in the episode, about human beings, how we're smart and can split the genome and do all this and deep space travel, but we're too stupid to not know to leave parasites alone in space across the galaxy and not try to bring them back to Earth and on our ship. And we see what happens, even though there was a saboteur, which we're going to be talking about. It's just still is not a good idea, man. It's not a good idea. um Morrow, Morrow. My opinion of this man has changed significantly. He was still
Mine too.
somewhat he was still somewhat of an a-hole at the very beginning of the episode when he woke up in his underwear. Just, I mean, I understand he's frustrated. You woke me up from my nap. Okay, I had 2 more weeks left. Okay, hit the snooze button. But he was, I mean, I understand his frustration and the weight on his shoulders, the level of responsibility that he holds. But I mean, Lamont, let me just ask you, man, is he justified? Has your opinion of the character switched at all? Is it the same? Is it better or worse? How you feeling about Morrow?
I'm not quite 360, but I'm definitely more than 180. And we find out that a deep, deep motivation of him is his daughter. They go through several scenes where you see the connection he had with his daughter. He's showing the daughter all she's got to do is look up in space. That's where he's at. And probably
Mhm.
by this point in time, the daughter is probably at his age, if not maybe a few years younger than him. And she hasn't had her dad in all these years, and he wants to get back to that child.
Well, no, she
And we
dead. She dead.
is she dead? So
Yeah,
that's what that revelation was about her. Okay, got it, got it,
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
it, got it. But nonetheless, she is still a big motivations part for him that softens his character. That's what I was trying to get to. It
yeah.
softens the perspective of his character. And I am right now, I am leaning team Morrow because even though he's an a-hole, think about the position and the responsibility he's in. He's having to protect a group of people against parasites coming to Earth, literally. Now, I think he shouldn't be on team. We're going to get him to Earth. But if you're going to have somebody who's the last line of defense against these things getting loose coming to Earth, you don't want them to be a nice guy. You don't want them to be Santa Claus. You don't want them to be a Bobby Heenan. You want them to be Morrow or Rick Rude. So I'm on his team for now, B. Avery. Let's see if he lose me.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, he does not lose us. Because I'm more on his team for the most part. I know I was giving him a hard time in the first 4 episodes. Like, man, you could have hit another button and opened up another cubby hole. But he did not know if the captain who took authority of the ship was infected or not. Because
Right.
Shmuel, he was infected with the octopus eye thing. And when Morrow walked into the room, she was on the ground, knocked out. He has no comprehension of what these creatures, aliens, can do. So, he had no reason to not think that she could have been taken over or infected or compromised in any type of way. And so, he's justified there, in my opinion. But as far as his daughter's concerned, he got that telegram, that print off that said that she died in a fire when she was 19 years old. And then we did, and he started crying. We started seeing the flashbacks, like you said. Okay, that's where I'm going. If you think of me, that's where I'll be. What in the world would motivate you to leave your daughter, knowing that you're never going to see her again? Like, I don't get it. I don't. Well, I mean, we had another character, Shmuel, one of the technicians. He was talking, talking to the young guy. He also made a comment. Hey, when I left, my wife was 31 years old.
Right.
By the time I get back, or now she looks like my grandmother. I mean, that alone, I just don't understand what can motivate you to leave your spouse, especially your daughter. Hey, I'm never going to see you again. I mean, we got that in Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, but he was trying to save the human race, so he kind of didn't have a choice. The world was dying. But that's not the case here. Y'all are going fishing for minerals and resources or whatever the hell, because they thought they was going to go find rocks. But Lamont, like, what would make you do that? Like, I
The
mean, what would you? I'm not. I keep asking you the question. I'm not giving you a chance to answer. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I mean, what was the conversation with his spouse? Like, hey, babe, okay, good luck. I'll never see you again. And then his daughter, bro, he just left his daughter. What's up, man? What's going on?
Well, you hit on one point that if you're going to have to leave your family forever and go to outer space, one point would be, is this going to be to save humanity? It's not the case here. But another point where a lot of people take off and are on the road and don't get to see their family a lot, B. Avery, is to create a better life for their family, to create better quality of life for their family, which leaves a lasting legacy for the person that sacrifices themselves to make that better life for their family. So maybe on some level, his mission was going to help create a better life for the family through what he was going to get paid. And for all we know, B. Avery, there could be more backstory about what they was looking for and how these creatures that they find could either enhance or help the human race or take the human race leaps and bounds further in the future, which would ultimately help his daughter and his family.
I thought about that, but that's still just not good enough for me. Because I mean, if you want to say, okay, this is gonna help the human race leaps, miles leaps beyond in the future, okay, that's one thing. I don't think that's the case because for Morrow doesn't seem stupid to me. He seems very wise. He seems like he's experienced in life. He seems like somebody, for the most part, that's not going to be taken advantage of. We saw how smart he was doing his investigation and how he, figured everything out. I'm pretty sure he read the contract up and down, but they're disposable to the people at Wayland. Okay, they only care about the cargo. We saw what the mother AI ship was saying. So I just don't think that he would sign up like, yes, this is a submission. I mean, they can try to sell the lie that the mission is for the best of humanity. I mean, that's probably what the kid thought, Malachi or whatever that drunk the stuff. But Morrow doesn't seem like he's gonna fall for that banana in the tailpipe. But as far the only way I can see him doing it is so he can give his daughter or family money. If it's his
Yeah.
whole family, I wanted to see the family too. And maybe they're going to be more backstory, but money is not enough. I think for the most part, if you took a poll of everybody that has ever existed on the in history, if they said you have one choice, you can either be poor or middle class and have a loving family around you to raise you up, or you can be born rich and never know your family. Like your parents die at your age 5, or you just at 5 years old they go away and you never see them again. But you can be rich. I don't know, but I think most people would choose the family, the relationship. Am I
Why
tripping?
don't you just why don't you just ask your audience to post their comments on what they would do in a situation, and maybe we'll have to put up a poll on our YouTubes, because I think a lot of people would take the money, because
Mm.
the loved one is one thing, but think about all the folks who signed up for the military while they got a young family. They might not see their family but 2 weeks over the course of 4 years. And then they're not even getting rich. And you can't really, I mean, you could say all the niceties, I'm doing it for my country, blah, blah, blah. But really, you don't have to do it. You sign up for it voluntarily. Or for someone who travels all the time, think NBA player, think football player, you might miss your family damn near 2/3 of the year. 2/3 of the year. I think some people would choose the money to to quote unquote, create a better legacy for the family.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys let us know what you would do in the comment section. Would you take the money or would you take the family? If you have a daughter, would you leave her forever? Bye, baby. Hopefully, if this works out, you're gonna get there's some money gonna be deposited into your account in 30, 40 years. Hopefully, if we don't blow up in space and get eaten by the aliens. So peace out. What would you do? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Lamont, we know another reason why Morrow was so frustrated in this series. He was frustrated. He was jealous because Bronsky was smashing Zavarani or whatever her name is, and he saw it on the camera. And he's like, if anybody gonna be getting booty in space, it's gonna be me. I'm just kidding. Man, they was getting it on though. I'm not mad at her though. She was like, don't you ever get lonely up here? 65 years? Come
Yeah.
on. I mean,
And she a
hey,
little baddie too, by the way.
yeah, she is easy on the eyes. It is inevitable, Lamont. It is inevitable that two people were going to be getting it on in space. And yeah, they were having a good time and they just weren't getting on, man. I think they were in love. I think
Probably.
that if everything worked out and they came back to Earth, they probably would want to have babies together. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly right now. But what are your thoughts there, sir? What are your thoughts about Bronsky and what is her name? Zavni. I can't say her name right. Please forgive me. It starts with the Z. And also Morrow catching them on the video cameras.
I just call her Captain Z, for Z Me Mo is what I'm calling her, because homeboy was Z and more of them hind parts and them booty cheeks. He was wearing her out and she was loving it. Um, I've done a lot of thought into going into NASA with the kind of background I had. And one thing that you don't hear a whole lot about in NASA, because they don't want the kids to know, is somebody goes up. Well, let me put it this way: if y'all don't think that they're not testing what it's like to have sex in space, create kids in space, I'm gonna just tell you, you're misguided. That is happening in space. They send a few people in space and tell them that their specific job, along with everything else they're going to be doing, is to satisfy certain things to see how these tests work in space. I'm not saying Dr. Z was that, but she had a romantic relationship with Buddy. And
Buddy.
Morrow's Mar- Morrow's frustration is because while you were supposed to be doing your job, shit was happening on this ship that was causing things to go left. And so if you wouldn't have been down there getting them booties spanked, you might would have been paying attention to who's zigzagging around here, letting out animals, going through corridors, going back doors ways, doing things. You might could have had a hold over this ship. And basically what Morrow figured out is that B. Avery, her thought and her emotions are compromised. And I know that made a whole lot of women who are in the women's movement upset because basically you had a woman who's the captain. She went emotionally down the bad ship, which is what they always fuss about women and their emotions. And then you had a minority have to step in and become the captain because she's got too emotional. And you saw what she did to little Buddy when the thing got on his face and he was in the cryo chamber. She put dust on him because she loved that MF for that much. Beat Avery. He beat the dust off them draws to the point where
Oh,
she put that dust right back on top of his cryo chamber.
yeah, man, she did. Uh, that was funny, but it was also kind of sad, man. This is a great show. It still has a lot of
Very.
suspense and it's very very thrilling. When she was over the body and she was reminiscing of their last lovemaking session, as she was getting up off of him, she imagined the creature on his face, and that was kind of like a jump scare to us. I was just, whoa, that was really effective. I like the sound effects, the music, and all that. Very very creepy, very very eerie, because it's supposed to be a nice touching moment of send off, and scaring us to death over here. So
Mhm.
something else I was afraid of, that I was scared of, is Chibizo, the
Okay.
sister, Afro chick. Oh, she frustrated me with her incompetence and just, gosh, what are you doing, ma'am? No accountability. You made a mistake twice, 2 or 3 times. Oh, it looks like you left the lid off the top. No, I always put the lid back. She's getting frustrated, and the lid is right there. Man, 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 man. Why did it have to be the black chick that let the aliens get exposed, man? What are your thoughts on her? Because yeah, she frustrated the hell out of me.
I just wanted to pick on her afro haircut, and maybe that was some of the reasons why she was making these boneheaded mistakes. But I digress. I don't really have much to say about her. She did her job. In part, you can't blame her for what happened when the creature was intelligent enough to stick whatever that was, his arm, his antennae, or whatever it was, to open the container. The story for me, B. Avery, is not her and her mistakes she made. The story for me is my second favorite entity on this show that I've been talking about from day one, Octo-Eye, and how
Mm,
intelligent he is, and how
mhm,
me and you talked about different things that they could explore in this story where you could have these species fighting each other. We saw it
mhm.
right here. And how I told you if any species was going to survive on Earth, it would be Octo-Eye. And he continues to, continues to prove that. Not only is she proving that, B. Avery, but she was trying to help our black sister. And the black sister didn't even realize Octo-Eye was trying to help her. She thought Octo-Eye was, basically getting on her nerves, just staring at her for no apparent reason. And when Octo-Eye, the sister, saw that creature opening the container and getting out, it beat on that glass trying to save that sister left and right, and the sister didn't listen. So
No,
my second,
no, no. Are you serious? I
you
looked at
didn't
it.
see all that?
I saw that, but I thought the Octo Eye was communicating with the other alien creature. I thought that the Octo
Mm-mm,
Eye was trying to distract the black lady while the
mm-mm.
alien creature was getting out and secreting demon babies and drinks.
No, Octo-Eye was trying to help. Then when she put Octo-Eye on the wall, it was still trying to help. Octo-Eye ain't got no legency to these other creatures. Octo-Eye hate these mother. You saw how Octo-Eye jumped on the alien. Okay, Octo-Eye does not have any legency to any of
But it
these other
also it
creatures.
also jumped on the other guy too, the tech, and took his body over. And he
Took
he
the,
he
but,
he, he with Chapizo. If the Octo
but
Eye so intelligent, he should he
but
should know that.
wasn't that tech already knocked out?
No,
Yeah. Are
I
you
don't I don't
sure?
I don't think so. I'm talking about the male. I'm talking about the male.
Yeah.
We
That
we didn't
old
we didn't
guy.
we didn't we didn't see the takeover. We just Captain Z just walked in there and he was just sitting there still. And yeah, he
Yeah.
attacked the
Yeah.
alien, but
Right.
I don't know, man. What y'all think? Y'all think that I was trying to protect the black chick or trying
Yep.
to protect the other alien bug?
No. No, and the Octo Eye, ladies and gentlemen, is a female. They mentioned that, And I think that that female was trying to help another female. You know, she got a thing. The Octo-Eye had a thing for the black sister, trying to help the sister. The Octo-Eye from light years away know the plight that black folks go through on Earth, and
This
it was
guy
trying to
is
save that
you
sister.
stupid as
So
hell.
yeah, we must protect the Octo-Eye at all costs.
Protect the Octo-Eye at all costs. I don't know about that one. I could be wrong. I could be incorrect. Y'all. I don't think I am, but I could be. If I am, let me know in the comment section below. One thing that did frustrate me though, was this scene right here,
Oh,
man. God, dog. If I was Morrow, I would have pulled out that shank and went over there like, "You're no good. Shut the f up." All that crap that he talking. I just told you that the captain is dead and that the aliens are loose. One of those scenarios is enough for you to shut your mouth, be quiet, and listen to what we have to say. But you want to be over there, blah, 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 a meal, and if the meal shows up, you better eat, blah, 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 blah. That's why your ass ended up dead. Oh my God, man. I didn't feel bad at all with him being taken out. What did you think? Did you feel the same or you disagree?
no, I'm thinking to myself, bro, with what's going on that ship, I wouldn't been fucking hungry anyway. Like, what would do? You hungry in the midst of something that spits acid and can kill you? Okay, I'm not hungry. My body is not telling me to fucking eat. My body's telling me to get away. And I'm with you. I wanted Morrow to pull out the Barranca and slam it on the table. That's what I wanted. I wanted him to go Barranca, slam it on the table, shut them up. Because Buddy was just talking to, and I know he's a kid behavior. They treating him the same way Tony Stark treated Spider-Man. He's a kid. You need to carbon date him, and they talk like that. But nobody, when they get under that kind of duress, is going to be sitting there talking about, I don't know when I'm gonna get my next meal.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't know how long your ass is gonna live. Shut up, listen, and think about eating next week. Shut up.
Yeah. 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 So he ended up throwing up.
Yeah.
These aliens grow fast as hell too. Uh,
Yeah.
they really do, man. And those ticks grow inside of his body. Ooh, I mean, I'm not a scientist, I'm no expert, but they had this stuff contained, but at the same time, they didn't have it contained enough for me. I would have had this stuff in a container that's in a container that's in a cage, that's in a cage, that's in another cage. Because
Mhm.
we have no idea what these are capable of. When he tried to
Right.
get those ticks off, and then they didn't even have on no mask. I don't even know if they had on gloves or nothing, or hazmat suits. I mean, you don't know. These things are from the other side of the galaxy. It's
Right.
taken 65 years to get there. You don't know. I mean, that whatever the ceiling didn't kill those ticks. Maybe fire will, but you just don't want to be setting fires in the ship. Water. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to flood the ship either. Electricity, okay, yeah, they did have those electricity guns, but you don't know what these things are capable of. I mean, for all you know, if the certain temperature in the room hits a certain degree, these things can multiply times 3 or whatever. So how the hell and they don't even have on gloves and masks. I don't know. That did stand out to me. They kind of dropped the ball there, with all the technology that they should have. But that was quite gross, man, having his body that open and all those ticks everywhere,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts there, if any at all?
I thought they were pretty reckless in the way they was dealing with these organisms. I mean, the lack of containment was ridiculous. From old girl not having that lid that would keep the thing from pushing it open. There was an extra lid she could have put on top of that cover so that homeboy couldn't have took his tentacles and opened the thing. She didn't have that. Then they in there, and we learned that these things, they're drinking blood and they're attaching to actual pieces of his organs, man.
Yeah,
And you standing in there, you had on gloves, but no mask, no hazmat suit, no nothing. And I guess in that situation, well, at least have the hazmat suit on. So yeah, they got what they deserve because they wasn't taking the correct precautions. And then why not once the contamination got loose, just keep that room closed. Why keep open it for any reason? Just keep it
I think
closed.
I think they did keep that room closed.
Well, no, because remember Morrow had to duck in there because he was getting shot at, and then before that, it got opened again, and that's how Lady Octo-Eye got out. I mean, you look, once the stuff hit the fan, be Avery, like you said, either you freeze the room to a point where nothing can live, or you set that bitch on fire. Hit the button to eject that whole room from the ship and let it float out in space. You got to take precautions.
Yeah, yeah, they were kinda laxed on the, containment to me. Tang is dead. Tang is dead, the creep. Now, is he AI? I mean, he's not a hybrid because that's a prodigy thing, so he has to be AI. He's not a cyborg. You know, because
I
he
would
was
have.
weird. I think
I was
he's
about
AI.
to I would have loved for him to keep that character around. He was so quirky and androgynous. It's kind of like a Oriental prince or something. I would have loved for them to keep him around. He was fucking weird, B. Avery. He's
Yeah, well,
sitting there smoking his cigarette, jacking off over whoever that lady was. And when he died, he was just as calm, cool, and collective. I was like, bruh,
no,
there's no emotion.
he screamed when the alien was up there. I'm talking about the Asian guy when he was sitting
Yeah,
in the
that's what I'm.
chair.
He was, but when he looked up, he was still too calm for me. That like the
Oh,
minute I seen that, I would have jumped out that chair. It would have been more than screaming, be Avery. Think about
yeah,
how brothers would have reacted when we seen the alien. We would not have just been sitting in the chair. We would have screamed and ran. We might even would have tried to go and throw something at the alien. We wouldn't have just been sitting there chilling.
yeah, yeah.
But I like the character. I think they could have caused a lot of drama with that particular character and the way he delivered himself amongst those people.
Yeah, he was, Mr. Tang was a weird one, you know. I like this guy too, but, you know, he didn't make it. He was trying to remove the ticks and all that stuff, and rest in
Yeah.
peace, Tang. Rest in peace. Here's Morrow when he's trying to do, his investigation.
And
Um
Tane gave him the answers to the investigation,
That's
basically.
the next thing I was gonna get into right there. There you go, sir. Is yeah. He said, Morrow, you're not thinking about every option, every situation. You know, somebody the computer could say somebody in the power asleep, but they not. And they found out the saboteur. I don't know his name. Is it I think it was Petrovich or something like that.
Yeah.
This dude done turned the ship, you know, from a navigation device to a missile to an arrow. Done blew. I mean, like I'm not a ship technician or whatever, but I'm thinking, I guess you did do it in the best way to make sure that you survive too. But man, that is a hell of a risk. He knew what he was doing to cause all that chaos and mayhem. I'm poor buddy that got shot in the head when they was doing the shoot 'em up scene. What did you think about all that, man? That revelation.
The most important thing for me was we no longer can be associated with Boy Blunder. I'm not going to call his ass Boy Wonder no more. Boy Blunder from what is Prophecy. We know that deep down on the inside, he's not a good dude, and he basically was working with this guy. Me and B. Avery called it from day one. We knew somebody amongst this crew was a saboteur. We knew it. We knew it. We just thought it was Morrow. And we come to find out it is Drazen Petrovic, done left the NBA, and now is up here contaminating ships, trying to get paid from the boy Blunder, and is even saying to him, look, I might die. And Boy Blunder said, "Well, that's your problem, basically. I mean, you
Yeah,
get
suck.
down here
Yeah.
with this stuff, you get your money." And so the best thing for me was I loved the way Morrow took his ass out straight Barranca, finish him for the win.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah. That was quite nice. I wasn't expecting a shootout in space either, you know.
Me
And the
neither.
tension was high, man. You had
It was.
you had the ticks going around, you had the longer alien things going around, you had Octo-Eye, you had a saboteur and an alien that's growing up eating people as well, like Tang. So you have 4 or 5 different threats all going around at the same time, man. That is chaos for your ass right there. I don't also blame Morrow for not wanting to wake up the rest of the crew. That I mean, you know where they're at right now for the most part. You know, that just would have caused more confusion, more bodies, just keep them there frozen. You know, for the most part, we don't even know if the alien can sense them there. So That was a smart call. But Captain Z, man, she froze. One thing I did not like is, I mean, I'm not that she froze, but when the xenomorph saw her and jumped right behind her and turned around and then grabbed her with her tail or his tail and flung her around, like she should have died right there. Like, how the hell did she get away and the
Right.
alien chased her to the other side of the ship? I mean, am I tripping or does that make any sense at all right there?
It makes good sense because it kind of seemed like the alien was playing with her.
Yeah.
And then that the chase scenes, the alien should have caught her on two of those chase scenes. There is
Yeah.
no way she should have made it in that room and the alien didn't get her. No
Yeah.
way. No way. So to me, it kind of felt like the alien was just messing around with her. And she should have died a long time ago. I didn't want her to die, be Avery. I wanted her
Yeah.
to carry on, but
Yeah.
it's a story and casualties are had in the story.
Casualties are had, and Morrow ends up being the only survivor. Maybe
Mhm.
it could have been him and Captain Z, but he was like, I don't want to risk it. You could be contaminated, and shit is hitting the fan right here. And he shows up. It's no more in the past. It is present day. He shows up at Wayland Utani's headquarters and talking to the boss. He got his red suit on. He's suited and booted, and he's checking in. He's debriefing. And he's ready to show down and kill Cavalier. And it makes more sense too, because in the first episode, when they landed, he was like, "Where's the one that called Cavalier?" He don't know. At the time he didn't know who that was.
Right.
Other than the video that he saw. Cavalier is a snake in the grass, and he wants to take him out.
Mhm.
I don't want lawyers. I want soldiers. We're gonna do this my way. And he has a good report card too. He said, "My grandmother." She said, "My grandmother is fond of you." She said to Hurley, "Guys, give him whatever he wants." Lamont, it's going down, sir. It is going down. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
It's about to be a war between the synthetics and the cyborgs. And when this war go down, I would have to put my money on the cyborgs because they're more seasoned, advanced human people or creatures. The synthoids might have all this power and stuff like that, but they're still children. The only thing that's going to tilt the scales, be Avery, is the fact that Wendy know how to control the xenomorphs. That's going to be a big problem for the cyborgs. Let me say this about Morrow. I love the way every time he pull out the Barranca and pull it in, it sounds better than the noise they give for Wolverine claws going back in his body. That
Yeah,
noise was perfect. It sounds
it
great.
was.
That
Yes.
Barranca must be sharp as hell because you hear it shring, shring, and I can't wait to see this war that's coming because the war is coming, Avery. There
Oh,
is no going back from this. There is no going back with what we know now. The boy wonder has these creatures in his possession that he basically stole. He sabotaged to get them.
yeah,
And Morrow done debrief the lady for Wayland. He's told her everything that he saw. And so I think that she's gonna be about peace. Like she don't want it to come into a fight or a war, but Morrow, he about that action.
yeah, definitely. And remember, he downloaded all the data from the ship as well, so they
Mhm.
have that too. And yeah, I'm Team Waylon Utani right now. I like Morrow more. I still don't want him taking advantage of Slightly. Because I like Slightly. I mean, I understand his position. It makes much more sense now to where he's like, "This is my life's mission. I'm not finna go through all that and have my crew destroyed, you know, and for nothing." We could have been living, whatever. This could have been a successful mission, but because of Boy Cavalier and prodigy, my ass almost died. So he's 100% justified there. But hopefully things between him and Slightly don't turn out too bad. But we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. Y'all tune in next time, man. Are those your final thoughts, Lamont?
My final thoughts is, ladies and gentlemen, buckle in. Because now that we know the whole story about Morrow and we understand the whole story about Boy Blunder, there's characters beneath all of them that we've started to like. Y'all, everybody knows Wendy has been my favorite character, and my favorite organism is Madam Octo-Eye. And both of those are with the boy Wonder. And the people that really, really are doing the job correctly is Waylon and Morrow. So how are we going to end this? Not to mention Wendy's brother. I can easily see him jumping over there to help Morrow because he understands that the boy Blunder is evil and he wants his sister to get away from them. And this could become a battle of whoever controls Wendy controls the fight.
We'll see. We're going to see, and I can't wait. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in to our Alien Earth episode 5 recap and review. It's going down. We will be here same time, same place next week for episode 6 called The Fly. Tensions rise as powerful enemies confront each other. A dangerous plan unfolds, and curiosity leads to deadly consequences. And I like the title of this. It makes sense because I've seen episode 6 as well. And that one is pretty interesting too. It's a little slower in the beginning, but by the end of it, you're just like, oh my goodness gracious. They what I like about it is they keep answering the question of what if this would happen or if this would happen. So, dealing with alien species, that's a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this on my channel, please subscribe to Lamont's channel. If you're watching this on Lamont's channel, please subscribe to my channel. Links to both of our channels are in the description box below. And also, guys, check us out because not only are we talking Alien Earth over here, we are also talking Peacemaker, and we're going to be doing our review for that for episode 3 right after this. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm Avery. That's Lamont, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you. This thing just does not stop. Let me